Deane, CEO of Corporate Cinderella, and while I know many of you through different networks that we've been part of, including mentoring with Business Blueprint, some of you are also my coaching clients and my consulting clients. So a special welcome to each of you for dedicating the time today to demystify LinkedIn. And I wanted to acknowledge that LinkedIn is a tool that many people are aware of, but not necessarily leveraging to the best advantage. And yet I see it as an incredibly low-cost resource that whether you're an entrepreneur, a leader of a not-for-profit organisation, or working within retail or finance, there is much to be gained through becoming familiar with this program. So within the portfolio of Corporate Cinderella, much of what I do covers off 7 key areas, and they include personal leadership, toolbox leadership, strategic leadership, culture leadership, speak leadership, online leadership, and family leadership. And today just happens to be Friday, which is our online leadership portfolio day. So it makes sense that we're going to cover off on a range of these topics. Much of LinkedIn I've covered off through different presentations to organisations such as the Australian Institute of Management, Women in Business through Women's Networking Australia, speaking on aspiring leadership to women in engineering, writing articles for magazines such as Rescue a CEO and more. So as we get underway, I'd like you to contemplate right now, how are you using LinkedIn? So what I'm going to be inviting you to do during this session is to keep it sort of fairly interactive. Now, because I'm managing the webinar screen myself here and the broadcast control panel, I just need to ask you for a bit of grace if I'm a little bit lagging in the time as I shift between the dashboard and indeed the presentation, because it's important to me that if you raise your hand or leave a comment that I do acknowledge that. So let's begin. For many of you, you may have felt like you're a bit of a stalker or you're going undercover as you look at LinkedIn. And you might be one of those people who visit a profile, check someone out, but don't yet quite know how to engage or connect. And that's okay. Hopefully today we're going to change that so you can take the mask off and really be upfront. Now, growing your business is whether you're in leadership and working for another organisation, you still are tasked with growing the people and the profits, and indeed enhancing the practices of your organisation. And if you're an entrepreneur or a small business owner, and I know many of you on the call are, you're also going out into the marketplace and consulting. So for many of you, you're looking for ways that you can, I imagine, source genuine leads or high potential leads, and then build relationships with individuals that you would like to do business with, or indeed like to form strategic alliances with. To that end, though, you need to be very clear on what your foundation is, what your purpose is, what direction you want to take your business in, and the delivery methods that you're going to be using. LinkedIn is no different. You need to be sure that you have at the very foundation a clear sense of your values, why you're using LinkedIn, the direction you want to take your business in, and indeed what delivery methods you're going to use to engage, to attract, engage, and retain some of these leads. I'd like to just acknowledge the people that have joined us now. A big welcome to you. I'm Tarran Deane. You're on the Demystifying LinkedIn webinar, and we're just establishing a platform for conversation this morning, and it's going to be quite interactive and informal. So thank you for your grace as we take our time and ensure that we've got these foundational elements right. Many people are looking at LinkedIn as a bit of an unknown. A lot of hype has been in place around Twitter, Google+, Facebook advertising. But what hasn't yet been given its day in the sun, if you like, is LinkedIn. Yet it is the most professional networking platform for people in business. There is a higher net worth of per member on LinkedIn. It's grown more than 200,000 users in the past month, as opposed to 45,000 users for Facebook within Australia. It has a capacity to link with your Twitter feeds. There is so much capacity to target the leads within the group, and also to participate in key discussions. It is not a platform that's quite like the cocktail party that Facebook is. LinkedIn is literally the online version of when you walk into a tech meeting or a high-end professional networking meeting. That's the tone. People aren't talking about hanging out at the latest cafe. The pictures that go up there are generally not recreational in any way. They are all geared towards your purpose and direction and serving other leaders. So as we move forward, what I'd invite you to consider during the course of this webinar is this for you, and is it for your organisation? Because I do know, as a leader of 25 years, sitting on the national executive of an extremely large not-for-profit, annual turnover of 110 million as at last year, serving within retail finance, managing an investment portfolio of 55 million for what was at the time Metway Bank, now Suncorp here in Queensland. Being involved in Indigenous Australian issues, working closely with not-for-profits, including disability, aged care, women at risk, I know that your time is valuable. And I know you also have limited resources. So you need to determine, is this platform for you and for your business? And indeed, where does your audience or your customer or the people that you would potentially like to do business with and align yourself with, where do they gather? And I'd like to suggest to you that you'll probably find them here on LinkedIn. So if you want to increase your reach out of Facebook and Twitter, and indeed Google and Google+, this is the place where conversations seem to be really well established. Google Plus is becoming more and more popular, yet it hasn't reached the same level of engagement as LinkedIn has here in Australia. So a little bit about what we do at Corporate Cinderella in relation to how we are using our LinkedIn profile is we're getting very clear, and this continues to be a process of continuous quality improvement and refinement. We're knowing more and more who our audience is, as you can see here, who they are, what they care about, what their issues are, and where do they hang out online. So are they going to a KPMG event? Are they going to an International Women's Day event? Are they looking at buying an additional investment property before the end of financial year? Are some of these leaders now responsible for aging carers? So are they now visiting other sites that may be related to health and education? We're also looking at where we're drawing great content from. We see ourselves very much as a conduit of information and gathering of resources. So the majority of posts that we put out are from that perspective. We're not creating fresh content from scratch. We are providing a commentary on information that we're gathering, and from time to time posting our own unique blogs and articles. But we're a small enterprise. Heart is at the core of what we do, so we know we can't get everything done and be all things to all men, which is why we need to be clear on our audience, clear on the content that will appeal to them, and also very clear, as you see here, on systemizing our business so we don't wear our team out. So we automate as much as we can and create scripts that we can simply copy and paste from Word, whether we're using a laptop or a device such as a smartphone or an iPad. So one of the things that that is very clear is that we shouldn't really be shouting at people in social media, but look, cutting ourselves a little bit of slack. We're feeling our way, and we understand that we want to be the loudest influence or the most prevalent influence in our readers' or members world around issues affecting them in leadership, and certainly online leadership is our portfolio for this particular webinar. So what is your expert topic? What are you an expert authority on? And do you in fact have the loudest voice online as it relates to your reputation and your branding, as it relates to standing out from competitors in your field? Are you seen as a potential strategic alliance by people that are looking to invest either now, immediately, or in 18 months' time? And that's the thing. This LinkedIn, as with a lot of social media, is not about transaction. It's about relationship, and it's about staying the course and being consistent and having the right to speak into other people's lives. We really want to position ourselves through LinkedIn as a trusted advisor, a trusted go-to person. Yet I was reading something yesterday, and I'll share this with you. When doing a bit of research to prepare for the webinar, I recognise that there are some default program scripts that are available on smartphones or that people have been using who want to connect with me. And I had a bit of a chuckle as I read someone's commentary on this. And that is, when you're sending an invitation to someone that you don't know, don't put in there "because I trust you," because that's a falsity. Trust is gained through knowledge and social proof. So if first-hand experience has warranted that Lenore and I know each other really well, we'd say something like, it's great to connect with you here on LinkedIn, Lenore. I know that we've spent a little time together at networking events over the past 12 to 18 months. Hope we can connect and really strengthen our relationship, something along those lines. But don't put in the word "because I trust you" if you don't know the person or you've not done business with them. So again, reconfirming that we want to be the biggest influence in our audiences day to day. And there's a few strategies that we use before we get onto LinkedIn, because this comes to the question of content and photos and ensuring that you've tagged everything appropriately. So you've done your homework before you're even on the platform. So any videos that you're filming, make sure that in the title that you're saving your videos as, you have the full name of your website. So for example, with a lot of the content that you see on the screen before you, and this was a screenshot of some of the images, and this was taken a couple of months ago, I actually make sure that each of these photos are tagged with our file name. So I will put in there Tarran Deane, leadership coach, consultant and speaker. Then I put our URL, corporatecinderella.com.au, and our 1300 number or my direct mobile. So that's actually in the file name of every image, so that when I go to upload a post, it's automatically tagged, ready for Google indexing. So LinkedIn is part of a bigger picture of becoming known in your marketplace for your expertise. So there's quite an in-depth strategy, but if you get the foundation right, you can use these images across multiple platforms. So whether it's a white paper that you produce on property investing for coal miners, or whether it's disability support for professional parents, something along those lines, make sure that you're tagging every image with the name of your organisation and the website address and whatever the keyword is that it relates to that image. Importantly, also here, as you look through these issues, whether it's film or photographs or text or indeed audio files these days, we need to make sure, as we've put these details in here around tagging, that you have a landing page set up on your website. So if you haven't got a website yet, and I know some of the consulting clients that I'm working with are in the throes of developing those, you need to ensure that you have a strategy to expand the depth of your website, create a landing page so that it can handle specifically the leads that come from LinkedIn or any other social media platform. I wanted to quickly just show you this example here. This is an image that I had as a result of speaking at an event. It was tagged. I met a colleague at a business networking event in Sydney. We connected again on LinkedIn. While he hadn't seen me deliver my work, he offered me, now this was through LinkedIn, free placement in his online magazine of an advert such as this. And so we made the link a live link for his online magazine so that that could then be circulated to his 22,000 contacts on his database. That happened because I asked him for an endorsement. He said, I don't know you that well yet, but I'm happy to do this. That's how LinkedIn can strengthen your business in one easy, surprising way. Also through LinkedIn, through one of my contacts through national speakers, he and I were having a chat around how can you rapidly pull down testimonials that you may have uploaded to YouTube and have them embedded in your WordPress site. And through this particular person that I spoke with on LinkedIn, again through engagement and genuine relationship, we identified a plugin for WordPress. We put it into the back of the WordPress site, and it automatically pulls down all the short videos that you see that I've given permission to be public on my YouTube Corporate Cinderella TV channel. And that's what you see there. So again, it's not just about leads, it's also about increasing your effectiveness. And LinkedIn is a great tool for sharing of information. So now, if you're open for business, let's get right into how we really use LinkedIn. Now, what I'm going to be doing through the next little while is going live onto my profile. So at this time, we'll be doing a little bit of interaction. And again, I'm just inviting you to be a little bit gracious. If you have issues that you want me to take a look at, or you have a comment, I would love it if you could just make sure you use the chat box, and I'll take a look at what we could see. Sorry, I'm distracted. I was reading one of those chat boxes. Okay, so coming back to the presentation where we were, let's go back. Okay, so we're going to go live. We'll start off with my profile. Again, just recapping, if you have questions or comments, it goes off with a little bell at my end, hence the distraction. So we'll just feel our way through this. But I'd love your thoughts as we progress through if you have any questions. And certainly at the end of the webinar, I'll be letting you know of an opportunity where you can talk with me one-to-one, and we'll be making some offers available, whether that's through Skype or whether that's through face-to-face, and how we use online leadership to really strengthen leaders in the marketplace, and how we might be able to assist you. Additionally, I'll stay on the line for an extra 15 minutes so we can talk about any immediate questions relating to this webinar. So if you're all set, let's go live, see what we can do. See if this lets us go this way. Might escape straight out and go straight in. Voila. Okay. So just opening up my LinkedIn profile now. And I want to draw your attention to something before we go too much further. You'll notice up here in LinkedIn that my name is there. So it's linkedin.com/in/Tarran Deane. You have to manually go into your LinkedIn profile in order for your name to be modified, or you can tailor how your name appears. Otherwise, it's a series of numbers and letters, and it's a little bit messy when you present it. So when you record it online or in text for people. So just signing in. One of the other tools, I spoke to one of my consulting clients earlier in the week. One of the tools I shared was 1Password. Makes my life so much easier, and it's a great way of gathering all your passwords in one location so that you're not struggling to find your logins for all your multimedia stuff. So here's LinkedIn. So setting the scene, I am currently using the free version of LinkedIn. Now, with the free version, it does give you access to about 4 of the 7 or 8 advanced search tools that you can use. Let's minimize that. So it gives you access to a limited number of the advanced tools. But with this program, with this free membership, I've still been able to build my membership to 1,500. So I wanted to show you that here. And that's through genuine engagement, through having access to the laptop or the iPhone app for LinkedIn. It's made it extremely easy to connect, provided you follow up with a tailored message. So I'll talk you through some of the bits first of all. So establishing your profile. Let's become familiar with, that's not what we want, is it? Let's go back in there. Try that again. Let's go over here and we'll just close that one. Okay, so clicking onto the home. Oh, it doesn't like the home tab. Interesting. Okay, see what we can do. Let's just see if we can restart this. Might be an issue with LinkedIn. Nope, here we go. Try that again. Hello, just checking in with you. This is just a health check. Let's just make sure that we're all online. If I can just do a quick check, if you're able, please, to give me a quick wave of the hand, please, so that I can see if you are reconnected. Seems like we had an outage. Hello, everyone. Hi, Tarran here. Let's just recap if everyone is still online. It seems there was a bit of an outage there. Okay, if you can please wave your hand, that would be great. Let's have a look. Make sure you're still on board. Hi, this is Tarran. Just checking if you're still online. If you can please raise your hand. Hello, just checking that we're all back on board after having a little bit of outage. Well, we're going to keep going in the event that you're still able to hear us. We have this being recorded, so we're just going to make sure that we're providing resources if you opt back in at a later time. So Chandra, Lenore, thank you very much. James, Joe, just reconfirming if you are present. Hello, you're back. Great. Thank you, everyone. That was mad, wasn't it? But that's how we roll. Okay, so back on board. Let's get going. Well, thanks for your patience there. It seems that we had a bit of an outage and no explanation for that one. So rolling on, looking at home, this is better. It outed when we were clicking on this screen before. So profile, let's begin here. As we open it up, many of you, from what I could see through registrations, already have a LinkedIn profile. Now, here are some key tips, and I'm just going to start basically at the top of the page and roll down. Now, I've been quite strategic when I set up LinkedIn before the introduction of LinkedIn company pages. There wasn't a facility there for me to put our brand name. So what I chose to do was ensure that my brand name was reflected in my profile name. That also saves me space here. So it's up to you how you want to stand out from the crowd. For me, this is one such strategy. The next thing I wanted to talk with you about was making sure that your subtitle or descriptor actually clearly identified what problems you solve, not just what you do, and provide a call to action. So there are three things that I've done in here. One, I describe what I do, such as you see me highlight, leadership and entrepreneur coach, consultant, and speaker. The next thing that it highlights is that we're increasing effectiveness and strengthening teams, and there's also a phone number there. What I'm planning to do is run with this phone number scenario for another week and test the results, and then I'm going to change that and put in there, actually I'll do it now. I'll jump in ahead of schedule and you can see how I'm editing it. I'm actually going to put in here, let's see how many characters we've got. No, it won't say claim. Visit www. No, we don't have enough character space. So we will go back to, there you go, save. We'll go back to that original one. So in order for me to put the website URL, I would need to actually go in and reduce some of the other character spaces. So one thing that I would normally do is I would create any of my text either in text edit on a Mac, so without formatting, or indeed in a Word document so that I can count the number of character spaces and then copy and paste it straight into the LinkedIn profile. Choosing your category is really important, and you can see through here that there are a range of industries. Now, one of the ways that I arrived at management consulting for me was knowing that there are a range of peers sort of delivering via the means that I do. On LinkedIn, I went ahead and looked at what were the keywords that they were using, how were they found. I went into Google and searched LinkedIn leadership speakers, LinkedIn leadership coaches, and that's how I found the majority of people were using that same category. So for you, it's another way of you identifying the correct category for your industry and what you're doing. Next, I wanted to show you, just click on that bit. Okay, just making sure we've saved it. Here's what I want you to have a look at. So remember earlier I showed you up in the URL, my name was there. On the right-hand side, you've seen me click. On the right-hand side, you can actually choose the settings of customizing your profile. You can choose picture, headline, summary. The headline is that descriptor that we spoke about. Your summary is what follows the in-depth. Here is the summary. This is pretty much what you would see on a standard resume in the sense that you would have a summary of skills and qualifications. But as an entrepreneur, it's also a call to action. So we need to be savvy in how we use that summary space more creatively. And also, just coming back here on customizing your profile, try and get everything in that you can. Here's where you change or tailor your public profile URL. So if you have, for example, if I had Tarran Deane 123JX9 as the default LinkedIn profile, this is where you would come in and customize it, and then you would view your public profile. So that's what I encourage you to do there. If your name is not showing up accurately, for example, as Kevin Lee, Joe Perry, for example, Joe Perrier, you need to make sure you go in and just update that correctly right there. This again is just the area on the left here. It's showing you what your profile will look like. It doesn't include the media options or any of the live feeds. It's merely just the text. There's no capacity for you to go in and edit anything in here. It's just for you to look at. It also highlights right down the bottom additional information about websites and groups that you're part of. And I encourage you to be part of groups. You can be a member of up to 50 groups, which I am, but we're going through and culling those over July and really looking at the ones that we are very intentional with and very active, and choosing where we spend our time, because otherwise we could get quite lost in it. Again, coming back to the profile, as we talked about, getting the most out of LinkedIn so that you can generate leads, build genuine relationships. I also encourage you to make sure that these fields are updated, that you have your correct phone number. Don't put your residential address in, put your post office box address, also put in your Skype details, any additional websites, calls to action, and that's a really great place to start. You can see here, I'll just highlight this feature here. When all those areas are completed, it actually demonstrates to your market that you have been using LinkedIn for a while, that you are an all-star. And I've been on LinkedIn now since 2009. Again, here is another feature of LinkedIn which talks about who's viewed your profile. So they remember that stalking image in the PowerPoint? Well, they're the people that have to come by who don't realize that it actually sends a notification out to the owner of that profile's email address, and they know when somebody has stopped by. But if you have a high volume of viewers stopping by your profile in a short amount of time, under the free membership, you'll only be able to see the first few of them. And of course, it's a strategy by LinkedIn to encourage you to upgrade to the paid membership. So you can see here that a number of people have visited my profile, and then the invitation from LinkedIn. So in the last 90 days, 165 members have viewed my profile. So imagine if they were potentially very good leads. And I do know, for example, this person has sent me an invitation request, and I'll show you how I respond to that. I've held off responding to it last night because I wanted to show you live how I do it. Also, I know this gentleman extremely well, and also this person here is another contact that I'm already connected with. But who are the 162? Now, because of the scale of my membership growing, that's why I'm now looking at increasing it to a paid membership. And there's another profile that I encourage you to recommend you take a look at after this webinar, and he's called Jeff Yang, and he's going to be speaking at a business blueprint event in Sydney in the next couple of weeks. But it's also an example how someone is using a paid membership and is populating his fields extremely well as a BRW entrepreneur. I wanted to clarify here that this is also, while you can't see the names as you can here of people that have viewed your profile, you can see the trend. And if you remember, when I first advertised this webinar or put my toe in the water to see if people were interested in how results were changing, this trend pivotally changed around the 28th, or you can see here, 23rd of June, and it started to climb. And that coincided with a change of my profile photo, which brings me to the next part. So coming back into the profile, it's really important that you have a great image and that you do change that image, if not 12 monthly, if not 6 monthly, then at least 12 monthly, so that you're staying vibrant and fresh. So my last image was a reasonable image, but it was a screenshot of another high quality photo that was taken at an AIM conference. But when you invest in getting good photos done, leverage them and make sure they're across all your profiles, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your company documentation. So if it's time for annual reporting, make sure your image is across that annual report as well. So this is about raising your profile as a representative of your cause or your business, or as an entrepreneur, indeed in light of the services that you want to deliver. So if you're speaking on a whole range of topics, you need to make sure that your branding is synonymous with that and beautifully aligned. So update your image if you haven't already done so, and just monitor the trends of what's taking place with your own increase in profile views. So here's another area I want to show you. So when we post on LinkedIn, we're posting 3 times a day, and we're doing that in an automated fashion, and I'll talk about the content in a moment. But you can keep a record of what your posts are through your own profile. So when you post to LinkedIn, it goes on to the combined wall. It doesn't stay on your own timeline that's publicly available. People have to actually come in into your profile and take a look at it. So it makes good sense that you're posting on a regular basis and showcasing the great expertise that you have in your knowledge area. So remember, we were talking about the summary. Well, this is the editing area, and this button here enables you to upload a file and upload a link. What I've discovered, my website is a WordPress site. I have a great opt-in tool that I usually put over the top of the YouTube videos that I've imported into my WordPress site. LinkedIn is not recognizing WordPress, so it's only enabling me to put a link in directly from my YouTube URL, so URL being the unique address. So what I've done is made sure that I've leveraged this function here. I've uploaded a file or added a link, and it's simply by going in here, clicking on that feature, putting in the link that you want. It needs to be a cloud-based document. It can't actually be somebody's own server. So it has to be in the open domain like SlideShare, Google Plus Arenas, etc. So I'm just going to exit out of that. Wanted to just encourage you after the event today to go in and have a look at the welcome video that I shot. It was just something that I did spontaneously in our office here. And the office lamp was on purpose because we wanted to highlight taking people from good to great. So take a look at that video. It's just a simple tool, and you can keep it on either public or private link on YouTube, and that way you're able to import it straight into your LinkedIn profile. Also, this is another tool that we've done. I use a free graphic headline generator to create calls to action. I use this one on my website, but I've also just trialed popping it in there as a graphic image and completing the description, so that way it lets my market know what I'm doing. So too, if you do up a JPEG image or you do a brochure and you want to do a screenshot of that electronic brochure, this is the place you can import it. It's so exciting. Love it, love it, love it, love it. We can also see I've got a promotional video in there for our Women's Success Click program. Hi, Lynette. I know you're online at the moment. Thank you for that. So you can put in people's testimonials and recommendations. Now that happens, let's pop down here. Scrolling down. You can put where you're members of different groups, such as business mentoring groups, where you've served on advisory groups for employment, such as what I've done here, Employment Disability Task Force. Endorsements go in, looking after, things that were way in your past. Now, this runs counterintuitive to hard copy resumes that you submit for positions or strategic alliances, because typically they say only go back five years maximum, maybe 7. But with LinkedIn, people want to know your story. And so the challenge is to step away from the legalistic tender writing third party approach and make it personal. So you'll see some profiles are written in the third person, such as Tarran has been working in leadership for 25 years. Well, I've chosen in my summary, I've written with more than 25 years experience I'm passionate about. So use it as a way to fast track relationship building in the first person. Coming down here to what I mentioned to you about endorsements, recommendations. So with recommendations, I've received 34 recommendations, and that's big social proof. These are people that have taken the time to actually write a text recommendation here in LinkedIn. The next thing that I'm planning to do, if we come back here to the media section, remember I showed you the image on the PowerPoint slide of the YouTube videos? Well, I'm actually going to make a point of putting additional media here, and so far I haven't come across a restriction on the numbers. I haven't seen any documentation that says you can only have 10 media files. But this is also a great spot to put video testimonials in and really start to build your credibility. If the video testimonial relates to one particular segment of your business, then you can still also go in and upload those files. Now, my understanding is that LinkedIn introduced this feature approximately 3 months ago, and they're rolling it out. So if your profile doesn't yet have that feature, don't despair. It's probably on its way, but you need to build your momentum and engagement online to really compel them to identify yours as an all-star and start getting the content loaded in. Okay, scripting. Let's move over here to how I respond to invitations. So typically, invitations will come through from a variety of sources. They'll come through from people that I'm connected with via a group, but I'm not personally connected with. Does that make sense? So they're a group connection, not a personal connection. To that end, they may say, "Hi, Tarran," and let me scroll down to open this one. Okay, what does show you? This person here. So this person has sent through a message saying, "I admire your work," which suggests to me he's been visiting my profile. He's acknowledged we haven't met, but he'd like to add me to his network, and he stated what group we are part of. So that's a really nice way of doing it. It identifies this person as sincere, as opposed to this person here has actually used a personal profile for a brand name, well connected with a number of people, but I'm not inclined to accept that person because it's not a person, it's a business, and I don't know that person. So what I'm going to do is ignore. And so you're seeing here firsthand, you don't have to accept every invitation. So if that was anyone that's on this call, sorry, I don't mean to offend, but my prerogative is I want to do business with people that I get a sense of trust from, people that take the time to get to know me or follow it up with a quick email, and indeed those people that I know offline who are newly coming onto the LinkedIn space. So with Ron, here's what I'm going to do. So if you watch this step, I click accept. And there he is. I'm going to send him a message straight away. So I'm going to go, "Dear Ron." Then what I want to just show you off to the side here, where I've prepared the folder earlier. I have set up a scripting folder. And for that, I have a whole bunch of scripts that I've developed. Now, scripts for me are just Word documents where I've wanted to use economy of movement, create a pseudo system where I write something down, I go, oh, it sounds great, save it, and then I keep improving on the versions. You may do something similar. So, for example, LinkedIn invitation when there's no message, a warm follow-up, invite response and congratulations on new role, LinkedIn response to people I've met in person, including received business cards from. And then you'll see these invitation responses when there's been no message. So you can see I started out at 0.4 and now I'm up to this version 5. And I also have a separate one for male viewers. Now, why I've done male profile viewers, why I've done that is because some people aren't aware how they come across. I had one gentleman whose profile photo looked like he'd been at somebody's bachelor party on a Saturday afternoon, and he was holding his head in his hand as if he'd had too many beers. And I graciously sent him an email on a suggested profile improvement, something like this. And we'll also, so here's a scripting. I've noticed your invitation didn't come with a direct message or possibly a photo, and you appear relatively new to LinkedIn. So for me, I've chosen to find that middle ground of ensuring that I'm helping people, but I'm also protecting myself. So I'm not going to accept every invitation. I'm going to offer some feedback. Obviously, I did this after I checked his profile, liked the content, but just offered a suggestion there on how he could improve his profile. So here's the response when there's no message. Thanks so much for your invitation to connect. I loved what I read in your profile. That shows I care that I went and had a look. Before we go any further, have you watched my LinkedIn video in my summary? Not yet. No problem. Here it is. So I give them the link to my URL, which is a further way of driving traffic to my website. Look into the future. Will our relationship be shallow or deep? So I put in here what I value. Just wanted to invite them to give me a buzz, let me know if I can help in any way. Here's my direct line, blah, and a little bit of blurb on what I do. So these are some of the scripts that I use. Now, in this instance, I am just going to copy that, because even though he has given a message, before we go any further, looks good. Make sure if you're doing any copying and pasting, you don't accidentally put somebody else's name in it, because that is so tacky. So let's go. Thanks for the invitation. And it just personalizes it and makes you stand out, particularly if you put their first name in. So therein is an example of how I do it. That's an example of one of the scripts that I use, and you can see some of the other scripts that are off to the side. As I mentioned, I've shared with you that I don't always accept invitations. Now with June, I have worked with her before, but she looks like she's fairly new to LinkedIn. She's only got 8 contacts. So I'm going to send her the profile, improve your profile, a suggested response when I email her back. So that's an example of how we do the scripting. I just want to drill in a little bit more. I realize as time is getting away on us around endorsements. Now, LinkedIn uses endorsements pretty much like keywords. So you'll notice that Twitter use hashtags. That helps people with searching for data. Facebook is rolling out the introduction of hashtags in its social media platform. That was recently in an article, I think it was by Social Media Examiner magazine earlier this week. So you'll begin to see more and more posts have at the end of them the hashtag. So it's not limited to Twitter anymore. That's going to be appearing on Facebook pages. and indeed profiles of professional people, Google Plus perhaps. And endorsements are an interesting thing. What I love about recommendations is people can put sentences in, and it lets you know that their feelings about what you've delivered are quite sincere and genuine. The difference with endorsements is because LinkedIn is trying to build its keyword search tools, when you first log in to your profile, I'm just going to sign out so you can see how this happens. What pops up immediately on your screen is the option to endorse people. Now, I haven't typically done that in the past if I haven't worked with someone. And I did have in some of my initial scripting responses, please don't endorse me unless we've worked together, or that you're satisfied that I can deliver on these topics, because I also want meaningful endorsements. I don't just want a ton of them. And of course, it's not coming up for me at the moment. Oh no, it's okay. Let's go and check this out. So with endorsements, I'll come down to see if there's words. Down here are the keywords. Look for the coloured graph. Here we go. So with endorsements, these are basically used as keyword searches. So you can go in and design which of your top 10 or 15 words you want to be known for in the marketplace, and they will be the ones that carry the most weight with your audiences. So start looking at using endorsements. And what I'm also conscious of is people sign on and my name pops up in front of your eyes. If you're endorsing me, please know that I do see them, but I'm still looking at how can I systemize a response to that so everyone feels valued, but I don't feel obligated to go back in and endorse someone that I haven't necessarily seen proof of their work. So it is about being confident in who you are and how you want to use it, but know that endorsements are becoming a powerful keyword search tool. And again, just commenting on the issue of recommendations, there's no capacity for you to add media in here by way of video testimonials. So that's why I'm suggesting way up here under each of the different roles that you occupy, even if there's a series of concurrent roles, or in your summary, start to import video. So let's bring it back to our PowerPoint now and just confirm growth. So with what I've been doing with Corporate Cinderella, in my personal branding, I can honestly say that with 1,500 members on LinkedIn, 1,300 connections on my individual Facebook profile, and only 200 and something connections on my Facebook page, of which 130 are also personal connections, LinkedIn is the place to be. In recent weeks, I've seen the trend shift even higher than this graph that I developed a couple of months ago. What I've noticed is that through ensuring that we've systemized the process, that I have Google alerts coming in with key topics of interest, so whether it's strategy or it's leadership, it's not-for-profit, it's legislation, also whether it's subscriptions. So when I subscribe to things like Social Media Examiner, I don't have them come through to my Tarran at Corporate Cinderella website. I have a separate website, a separate Gmail account set up for subscriptions, and it all goes in there. And then my virtual assistant in the Philippines sifts through the content, pulls out content relative to the days of the week, so the way that we frame our social media posts. And we put all that together in a program called Hootsuite. It initially goes into an Excel spreadsheet, then gets imported. So our posts are already done 6 weeks in advance. So when I was in Italy and came back and my father-in-law passed away and we had a house full of visitors and I couldn't get to the office, I knew that our public persona was still being rolled out. We were still delivering, and we had systems in place to capture those leads. So these are a few of the tools that I use around sourcing content, creating it, and delivering it. So what I want you to consider now is, what are you going to do? So here's your LinkedIn profile. Some of you have perhaps dabbled with it. You've logged in but never gone back to it. Some of you are tentatively looking at it. You're getting those irritating little invitations from people's iPhone apps or Android apps that go, hi, you're one of my contacts. Let's get connected on LinkedIn. And you haven't done it because you don't quite know what to do with it. Well, I hope that as a result of this morning's webinar, you feel better positioned to go in and populate your profile, start connecting with people, and through establishing those warm relationships to begin with, you then set up a plan to go in and systemize how you can contact people on a regular basis. So as we move forward and we're getting close to the end of this webinar, I'd like to put to you an opportunity. If you want a copy of all the scripts that I've done, or you want to do a Skype consult, or indeed you want to have some one-to-one face-to-face time and look at how we've done our mind mapping around this, plus get those same templates, the offers on the screen. Alternatively, I'm happy to stay on the line now and just answer any immediate questions, including how I use an online customer care program that immediately connects with LinkedIn. So it's free. So I'll be on the line for longer. I just want to thank you for your attention. If you'd like to claim the offer, by all means, just shoot me through an email and we'll get something out to you this afternoon so you can start working on this over the weekend. I'd love you to share learnings with all your colleagues, and indeed jump on LinkedIn and use what you've learnt. Start endorsing or recommending the people in your world. And if you'd like to leave feedback, if this has been beneficial, by all means, please leave a recommendation with the hashtag of online leadership. For me at Corporate Cinderella, that would be much appreciated. So again, I'm Tarran Deane, CEO of Corporate Cinderella. The webinar is officially finished. We're going to keep the recording going though, so that we can keep any questions in the record for other people that might be listening to this after the event. So thank you for your attention. I really appreciate all your company. If you have any additional comments, love to hear your thoughts. Thanks very much, everyone. And so I'm staying online now. So I've got some questions. How many character spaces do you get in your description space? That's a really good question, and I will find that out for you. So I'm just going to clear the screen. Sorry, we don't want to do that. Go out of that. Let's go in and do a quick answer to Lenore's question. I'll take that text. Quickly do a... Oops. Moving too quickly for my Mac at the moment. Okay. Do a new text edit, and this will help us just look at the number of characters that you can place in. See what it says. Try it in this one instead. Okay. Any more questions, my lovely? Just keep them coming through with within the chat box or the comment box, and I'd be happy to answer them all. That's great. Thank you very much for all of that. I can see we've still got a number of you on the call, so by all means, stay involved. Let's have a look at your individual profiles if you'd like. Videos, Adrian, what would you like to know about videos? If you're still on the line, just let us know. The plugin for the videos. The plugin, Adrian, was called... plugin was called Tube Mogul. So that video plugin for the WordPress site was Tube Mogul. Excellent. Okay, so we've got these details coming through now. So the number of character spaces seems to be 100, basically 120 with spaces maximum. Yeah, 120 spaces, Lenore. So I hope that helps you out there. Again, this is just a simple tool. Copy and paste, go into tools, do the word count, and that lets you know the characters with spaces that you can use. Exit out of there. The other tools that I just wanted to share with you for those that have stayed on board is just to let you know. You're welcome, Adrian. You're welcome, Sharon. Hope that was beneficial. Chandra, lovely to have your company. Lynette, David, great to have your company. Okay, let's type this in here. Okay. Here's a bonus tip, and I'm just going to email this to you now so you've all got this link. Here's bonus tip. This is a program that I'm sending you that if you Google it, let's get my spelling right, connected, okay. If you Google this program, it's called Connected HQ. It is a free contact relationship management tool that LinkedIn actually issued, but it's not widely known. So check it all out, and it's a great way of actually bringing up contacts. So if I look for Adrian Law, seeing you're on here, my darling, are we connected? Let's go in and have a look. Okay, there we are. So Adrian, you and I are connected. So I'm clicking on message. And I just want to show you how Connected HQ seems to be working. It's taking a moment just to load. It's slow, isn't it? Let's try that again. Here it comes. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try it this way. Oh, actually. Let's go. Hi, Adrian. Thanks so much for contributing to our Demystifying LinkedIn webinar today. And as we go through that, I didn't put a subject in, my apologies. Of course, now it wants to do that. So we'll come straight out of there and we'll just go back into Adrian Law. Because what I'm actually aiming for is to show you how that program works, Connected HQ. As it comes up, it's a great little resource. So instead of clicking on message, I'm actually clicking on your profile, Adrian. And the beauty with this is brings the person up, and it actually provides you with like a run sheet of conversations and contacts. So if you're using an autoresponder database, it lists for you the last lot of contacts that you've had with people. Yeah, it's just a brilliant tool. So again, Connected HQ. Well, what we might do, it's taking too long for my liking. So again, just coming back to you, if you wanted to have a one-to-one conversation around this, my core business is around coaching and consulting and speaking on the subject of leadership and really helping leaders to flourish in what they do. So for many of you, again, you're here because we're connected. We're already part of a joint mentoring program led by Dale Beaumont through Business Blueprint. But for others of you, you're also my consulting and coaching clients. So thank you for giving up your time today. And I hope that this has strengthened your readiness to embrace social media within the realms of LinkedIn and extending your leadership influence. So I'm going to conclude the recording now. And again, I look forward to connecting with you. If you'd like to learn more, you can visit us through corporatecinderella.com.au. And I'd love to see your feedback via LinkedIn, or indeed record us a little YouTube video so that we can import that into our profile. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day and a brilliant weekend. I'm Tarran Deane, Corporate Cinderella. Bye for now.